Have a quorum for business tonight, having 4 members present. Second item on the agenda for tonight's meeting is the approval of minutes, which you will see in your agenda packet. Very short and sweet.
I'm pretty brief.
Like
I typed those, sorry.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Minutes are approved.
Didn't know if that's what you guys did, so I didn't put it on there, sir, but I can put it on there for the next one, if that's what your body does. You tell me.
We're going to keep pushing on.
Okay, I meant just for next meeting. Would you like me to have that on there?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So we had a work study session within the last month where we took a first crack at identifying very specific properties and coming up with maps that would be attached to the declaratory resolution to bring through the town and through the process to approval for creating economic development areas, TIF areas. Do today is a couple of things. One, go over those maps, see if, make sure Marlon got everything in there that we also just spend some time generally having a general discussion. What we're embarking upon. These maps reflect, see accomplished. Marlon.
Hey, Marlon.
Good timing. We're just getting ready to dig into the maps that you created and make sure it reflected what we had talked about. And then we're going to have a more general discussion about how we feel about moving this forward and whether or not it reflects what this body intends for it to be. Okay?
Mr. President, all you need is tell me which map you want, and we've got them loaded in the computer.
So we have created or separated these into 4 general areas, right?
Yes, sir.
East Main, downtown,
Right.
and
Downtown
airport district, maybe just
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
Three.
I actually have 2 downtowns, it looks like. Got this one right here and this one right here. I can.
You can start with any of them.
Well, first downtown.
Oh, because it connects. That's why that one's called, yeah.
Connectivity.
Yeah, I agree.
Corridor.
Yeah.
Can we go closer?
I'm working on it, sir.
Okay. Sorry.
I'd like to tell you that I'm computer savvy, but I am not.
So
You certainly.
you have some comments.
Is that a little better, sir?
Yeah, questions.
I'm going to open to the board and Marlon questions, comments about these. Any input? Now would be a great time.
I think what we're talking about right now is economic development areas. Is that
Right. Yeah, these aren't TIF allocation parcels. I think we're
Or
talking
TIF.
about
This
areas.
isn't so it,
Okay, this is TIF allocation areas. Thank you.
We were only, well, Lisa Lee asked that we just do that. Because she would help put together the greater economic.
Okay,
Got
so this was the second part of what I wanted to get into today, but maybe it's best that we just start off with this. And Marlon, this is a fundamental understanding or misunderstanding that I need to get clear in my own mind in order to help shepherd this forward through the process. All the maps represent actual TIF areas. All these parcels would be TIF.
So yeah, so this would be the, and it would actually, I didn't do it exactly. Which,
Mm-hmm.
but it would all need to go.
You just went down
Right.
36 for, yeah, I think, okay.
Everything
Man,
in the
I didn't think we were looking at tiffing all these areas. We were establishing the economic development area. I know in our conversation the other day, we talked about maybe we're grabbing too much, but I can tell you that I've seen communities establish their entire community as an economic development area. And then when projects came forward and opportunity came forward, they would TIF it. And that's when the increment from that development goes to the RDC, not to the town, but the town still gets the base assessed value.
It might be of interest to anybody on this board, because if the Beacon GIS were available, or if you do this now, or we do it later, but a layer on the GIS is TIF areas. You'll see Plainfield's got a bunch, 2 or 3 big ones. Brownsburg got some big ones, go all the way down 136. Avon's starting to figure it out, and they've got a big area along Ronald Reagan and 2 and 300 North, big TIF areas. He's right. They do have big areas for the EDA, I should say, not TIF,
Right.
EDA.
And it's important that we clarify between those two.
I know.
And that's exactly why we need to have this conversation.
Yes.
So, and we need to come to a consensus amongst ourselves before we are in a position to push this forward
Yeah.
through the public process. And so I just relay my personal vision, and I'll do that and see where we. Marlon, I am not personally necessarily really in favor of these great big TIF areas. To start off with, I am 100% in favor of all these areas being in the EDA, but being a lot more selective in what we are going to TIF. And it's mostly for the reason that I don't necessarily want to hamstring the town's general fund. I want to be able to see it grow and not just be capped with all that future development money coming through to the RDC instead of into the general fund. So if we can be more selective to where the RDC receives, a money stream that we can reinvest in our EDA, but the town's general fund can also grow, I consider that a win-win for both
I
sides.
think we're getting back to what you just said. We need to understand the definition of these things. I think the EDA has no effect on that town's money
Agreed.
at all. The TIF, so I have a question.
Correct.
Marlon, EDA, TIF allocation parcels, is there a TIF district, or is that the same as the EDA? Are these 3 different things? Because I understand the TIF allocation, I understand the EDA, but then we're using TIF area.
Well, I think one thing that, with the EDA, you establish that by resolution or by ordinance, I can't remember which.
It's this document right here, the declaratory resolution.
And so, by doing so, if y'all recall, then at the first of the year, county assessor will establish the base appraised value or assessed value of that property. And it's locked into that. And if anything occurs as to development in that area, and we're TIFed, we TIF that in the increment, the new tax rate for that structure, between the old and the new, that's the increment,
Only if it's TIFed,
Only if it's an allocation
only
parcel.
if it's TIFed.
not just merely being in the EDA,
Right.
but if it's specifically TIFed.
Gotta have a physical action.
And that's what I thought, and so therefore, I'd like to be more specific. I do think these maps that we created are a great basis for our EDA, but I just feel they're too overreaching for TIF. I mean, we're talking about taking virtually
I
all
agree.
of the potential development land in Danville and saying this is all gonna funnel through the I know that's the right play.
If that's how it is, I would agree. Is that how it is? If we're in,
That's how that's set up.
okay, then I would agree with what he's
Keith,
saying.
Gary, what do you guys think about that?
I'm not concerned about establishing an economic development area.
Agreed.
The only thing that bothers me is, if each one of those places is then TIFed, that would present a problem.
I think that's what we're saying. I think we're on the same page here.
Yeah.
Do you?
I
Okay.
understand what it is that you want, and we'll just have to figure out what exactly do you want to be, what do you want to be tipped?
Right,
Within the
that,
EDA,
right,
correct.
right.
So let's take two runs at this if we can. Let's number one, consider the maps that you've created are EDA districts. And look at that and make sure we've got all the properties included that we want to have included. I think that's step one. Step two then is then going back into these maps again and saying very specifically, what do we want to do?
Yeah,
Sure.
like it.
And I think.
Typically, Ben, excuse me for interrupting, but typically it's vacant lots, or it's something that needs to be rehabbed, torn down, something new go in its place. And it can be achieved easily. So, yeah.
I've also seen, I mean, that's what majority of it is. That are willing to. But that's only.
Why don't we start down here in the airport district? I think that's the easiest one. Your tax parcel.
Yeah, definitely.
Working on it.
And so as far as the EDA, Marlon, there's a few other parcels in that area around the actual airport runways that are in the town of Dayton. Tax ID number. So anything in that area that has a 17 tax needs to be included. You've got the Edmondson recently annexed start, but east of there need to be included. Yeah, just kind of in that area that are 17.
Yeah.
On the west side of 300.
On the west side of 300.
Four's center township limit. Town limit is,
Right.
yes, 300.
Anything in that area that has a 17 tax parcel number.
What do you need? We're prepared to move into 400, just so you know, but kind of waiting on the right circumstances. to
Good.
move in that
Good, because a big part of what I consider this board to do is to try to get water and sewer to this area.
Agreed.
direction. Right.
And we need to capture the money to be able to do that.
Yes.
So we should actively pursue annexations with voluntary annexations.
On that note, if I could interrupt, the 50 acres, so if you look at the entrance to the airport, there's 50 acres south connected to the airport.
Oh, my.
That's owned by John Hall. I sold that to him. I talked to him this week. He is agreeable to annexing that in if he can keep the ag rate. That's possible, right, Gary?
Yeah.
Okay, as long as he can keep the ag rate. Now, I don't know how that annexation process starts, that's you, but
It's just a simple
He is willing-
application, and we put on that application, Edmondson kept their ag as well. And
okay, good.
It has to be a super voluntary annexation request.
He's
And of
fine
course-
with that.
Of course, nothing is going to be documented. I mean, we'll do it, but we can't actually put it on the books until next year because of the
Correct. We can get
census.
through the process, though.
Right.
Same with Mike Eaton. I'd love to get some of his.
Yeah.
So, question, guys, EDA versus TIF. Is there anything in here we want to TIF? Future improvement? Purely redevelopment.
Can we EDA if it's not in town?
No.
Okay. Okay. But it's in town, so it's adjacent properties are
You can include it
annexable.
in the EDA, but I don't think you will
Right,
get taxes.
right.
Agreed. So what's the vision for this area? Do we want to capture, all of the development money or just part? None.
Personally, I see this as the Plainfield All Points Logistic going up into Washington Township. That whole area from 400 to the waste management and south, maybe not all the way to 300, maybe 200, maybe 150 for sure. I think that's our industrial tax base. Really
It
do.
is, it is.
So I think we should eat what we can, and I think if it's okay with council to work towards annexation with Mike Eaton's and Edmonds.
One simple thing that I ask myself is, what are we receiving from it now? So if we establish an economic development area by declaratory resolution, then it's there, and if we've got any major interest and someone's going to build, we can TIF it.
Site-specific project.
Absolutely.
I'm fine with
I have a quick question. As we move forward, try and, like, if someone comes to us and says, we want to annex, can you expand your EDA boundaries at that point? Can you say,
Is that an easy process?
What we're doing now, right? We just add parcel.
that,
Yeah.
a great thing a tool for us, because then as we start to talk to these people about the super voluntary annexation, then we come back to you and say, hey, we just got such and such, and then you guys.
And then we get it figured out into.
Absolutely.
And it goes to say what some of those medium-sized communities do.
Right.
They establish their entire community boundaries as the economic development.
So the airport district, for our purposes, will be EDA only, no TIF. Do you have a consensus on that?
Yes.
As long as we can TIF at a point that we need.
It's in the EDA, it's eligible.
But we need to confirm that with the attorney, though. I'd feel better just to confirm with the attorney.
You'll do that for us? So let's move north into the East Main Street. Yep, good job, right there.
Fortunately, it's not, wherever it hits the page is not
Yeah.
working well with the, to do anything different than that.
No problem.
Kind of hard.
You guys want to start?
One thing I see in this area is at 400 East, they're at the corner, the Amish store there. I do not see that.
We discussed that, didn't we, Ben?
Yeah,
Know that that's in the town.
Yeah, it is.
it is.
Oh, you
It's
got that?
hydrants, it's got hydrants.
We did that a long
Okay.
time
So
ago.
that would be the far,
Right across from Patterson Woods.
that'd be the far bottom right parcel on this screen? Yes. Gonna want to add it.
Correct.
Pretty sure that's in.
I thought it was, because like Keith said, we've got water running through there, because we
Yeah.
went into Patterson Woods.
Yeah.
If it starts with a 17 number.
Not, we'll want to annex them.
So.
That's what I,
I wish, I don't.
There's one underneath the
going to the
podium.
board.
There was one.
Hey,
This right,
It is. That's Gale Crest, yes.
Crest front.
Yeah, the acreage abutting Main Street is retail.
No, there's a problem with developing it. It is commercial, but there's a pipeline that goes through and cuts it up, and it's been a real problem. But it's zoned with utilities. I see that as residential. I don't,
I think that was our discussion.
that's
No,
fairgrounds.
that's fairgrounds. Looks like you guys already included a parcel to the east of that. Right there. That's that,
Oh, that's Justice.
yeah.
Nursing home?
Yeah. We definitely want that in. Oh, wow. Yeah, because it's gonna get assessed.
She already got TIF.
Absolutely.
Nursing home, rehab center.
Right, and they just, did they just drop off plans?
They dropped off
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
perfect. Yep.
Woodbury?
Woodbury?
Woodbury.
Walmart.
Yep. How many people knew Goodwill bought that lot next to Tractor Supply?
I had no idea,
You're kidding me. I just found out.
no idea.
The one
Back,
closest to
back in
Main.
August. Simon Yonner and Jason Webb told me. Okay. Darn.
The only thing I keep hearing people asking me.
Thank you, 'cause
is,
I was-
We need a steakhouse. That's all I keep
No, no,
hearing.
that's fine.
We need a steakhouse.
They gave me a number of 550, said it closed. I don't know. I mean, I usually know that stuff, but that one surprised me.
Maybe back
I
out a
would
little bit. Ben.
believe you if you said it didn't.
I was wondering
It's
about.
county
Yeah.
property, isn't it?
No, some of that is,
That
but
is a county.
yeah, Mike Eaton. Correct.
That should
How
be
far
added.
west that goes, but it does go over to the county property.
It goes to the county property,
Yeah, that's-
and it's north of that ravine, and south of the ravine
right
Edwards
here.
bought. You have Beacon up there?
Hold up.
Yeah.
Lisa's got the
Oh, you
beacon
got
pulled
beacon
up.
up?
Well, me too. He told me the price is 550 for 2-point-something acres.
It's,
Oh, is it like that?
yeah, see where
Yeah, that's
Walmart
it.
is?
Corporate layer shows it.
Yeah, and we could also develop an overall philosophy that if it's a vacant piece of property,
Yes.
if it
And gonna, not residential, but yeah.
Just warning about green cycle and IMI there. Leave,
I think it's taxed at
That-
3%. They're already
Yeah, that's right.
developed, but
Riley.
You see if I can pull
Yes.
the beacon up on this, or?
working on it.
They pay a certain amount, depending upon the use of the facility. It wouldn't vacant ground to the west and to the
Yep.
north.
yep.
Right there. Very currently Boulevard.
I just looked, it says Eaton, but if you look at transfer,
Right here.
it says October of 18.
I believe
That's
it is.
probably tractors.
This all should be, well,
Yeah, top of it.
oh, wait a minute,
That's
I'm
what they
sorry.
told me,
This
but
is the
it
nursing
says-
home, this is Trader Bucks and Danville Regional Rehab, 255 Meadow Drive. Yeah, I know, we go there like 6 times a day, so I know the address by heart. And I want to say Hendricks has bought all
that-
these, if I'm not mistaken, all these
yeah.
doctor's offices.
He bought that, yes. It was Mike Eaton, yeah.
That Tractor Supply.
Yeah.
STNL Danville LLC.
Yeah.
Correct.
And you have Old Farm Shopping Center, right? Okay, thank you. Oh, yeah, that's that's Edmondson's ground. That was in already. Okay, where are we at? No, yeah, might help.
Got 2 downtown ones, Ben, let me,
Yeah, there was a blower, Main Street TIF map. Downtown Danville, Main Street was the one, there it is.
this is the one?
So questions I had, I must have left before we got to this. You've got Harrington's building in here, but you don't have these guys. What was just a question. I don't know that I care, but
Oh, where,
you got
Stirwald's office?
Harrington in, Sturwald not. Just curious. Because those are doubles there. Okay.
Church is here, and this is a church.
Yeah. Yeah.
Doubles.
Doubles.
Yeah, parcel number.
And Washington. Jefferson's on the Gary? Well, is that the church's parking lot, or is that ours?
It's churches.
It's the church's parking lot, but we
Lease.
maintenance it.
Okay, I knew there was a catch there,
We just recently paved it and
right,
lined it.
okay. This has just been purchased, and he's actually starting to pull permits to, that's the old Raider building, he's gonna start
Mike Rose.
pulling permits to, convert that into offices.
At the highest and best use.
I thought he was just gonna, now, unless he's got a use, when I sold it to him, he was wanting to just get it fixed up, bring the bathrooms out of the basement and see who comes to him, but
Yeah, but he talked to us about offices.
did he?
I was talking to Barry, but, yeah.
Maybe he's got someone interested, I don't know.
I told him, I said, our biggest thing is make it not a fire trap, and he goes, could have that accomplished. And then I said, never mind, I'm not the fire chief anymore, do what you want.
He's got a job ahead of him, man. I had a couple more circles if I could ask. The block that you were really interested in is not showing in. So there's the Dairy Queen, but you're next to the Dairy, that corner, you've been wanting that I'm sorry, here, right here. I thought you wanted that in, okay.
Yeah.
In fact, do I want it in?
Right. Oh, yeah. Right there, it'd be Tennessee and Maine, southwest corner.
Is this the breadbasket right here?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the house here that we've all talked about many times is not
Yeah,
showing
I
in
noticed that
either.
too, yeah.
One next to the town parking lot.
Yes,
There's just one big house right
just that, that's town parking lot next to it.
280 East Main.
And that was that's all I had on that.
Let me back out. How's
So
that?
you can, won't let you.
There it went. Ooh, look at you. It did scroll. Look at you guys. Gosh. Technology's a wonderful thing.
I'm done on that picture.
Laundromat?
AT&T,
AT&T.
They pay taxes.
Yeah.
would think.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Utilities.
How would you want to include them, Ben?
Just to capture the allocation. Gary knows.
It can,
Really just.
It's like a switching station.
Switching station. Basically.
And I don't
just,
think it-
it's
I don't think it
straight-
matters,
Everything
Ben.
comes in and it,
So last
it doesn't matter, Ben, but I can't see it being tiffed. And that's the confusion here. We're looking at economic development areas.
I've heard that before, because you ain't changing them, it cost them millions to move them. The only reason would be to capture any potential increase in taxes. It's not gonna get
how much battery
redeveloped.
juice do you think's in there, Keith?
A lot.
Exactly. It's just,
Yes,
it's scary.
Never
looking.
thought about that.
Oh my
It's all
God, it's truly.
You've seen it?
Oh my gosh, yeah, you're almost in fear when you walk in. When you look
Really?
down in the lower belly of
It's
it.
got like a basement.
Yeah.
All batteries, okay. Oh my.
About some TIF areas. Here's the advantage.
Yep.
Yes,
This
Yes.
may be
Yes.
to redevelop that, those two parcels to the north are really nice. Yeah, not crucial, yeah.
Town insurance.
Non-taxed at the moment, but, yeah. Oh, can you go north a little? I'm sorry, go ahead. No, north of Toric. So Toric just took ownership of that parcel right there, and they want to grab the next one up eventually. So the two parcels north of Toric's red line, one they own, the next one, they've asked me about approaching her to sell.
Are there any projects that are going to be done in these areas? What sort of public projects would be done in these areas? If you,
Yeah, that's it.
Several different.
Okay,
This will make sense.
yes. Hey, Mike.
but I think if you hear Lisa talking, there's funds will go towards public projects. Areas of TIF. TIF area will benefit those public.
Yes. Good with that.
At the DQ and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. You got it.
how many TIF areas you got now? 3. Look at the EDA.
Right.
So, we're great, aren't we?
Yes.
We just need to come up with projects. We can do that.
Some are coming on their own. Oh, was that your?
Now, that's in the residential areas.
Yeah, we can't use it.
R2, isn't it?
Multifamily.
The family, which is okay, allowable.
All right, give me a minute. Rand.
Here? It's not letting me do right and left, just up and down, sorry.
Yes.
Back behind
Yes,
CVS.
that's Tharp's remainder. There's a good 6 acres out of the floodplain of that. There's more than 6 acres, but a good 6 are, yes. Yes. Well, no, behind CVS and beaches and stuff.
How far does Tharp's property go over? To the car dealership?
I believe, yes, it does. It
There's
does.
a green field that's been mowed and maintained,
There.
and I don't know if that was part of the car dealership or not.
I don't think it goes behind, I don't know. You'd have to get the, well, you know what? Got the beacon right here,
No, it
don't
doesn't
you?
show it on Beacon.
I think that's Pence, isn't it?
It doesn't go behind Pence.
No, I believe that's
It just goes up to it.
Pence is to the right.
Yeah, I saw Pence,
It looks like it's just off of there.
according to the Beacon.
Right. Oh, then that is not Ben. That's not Tharp. Tharp is to the east of that. Yes.
Actually, the map isn't. We can pull up, we can try and pull up Beacon if you want to look at it.
Beacon might be easier if it's
Yeah, it
not a
shows right on
problem. If
Beacon.
it's a hassle, then
We can do.
oh, for,
How you doing, Mr. Wilson?
green area? Yes.
Or you can.
yep, that's it.
Where internet
Talks about
explorer
it.
is.
It's been one of those days. We had a teacher appreciation for the baseball team, and so one of my seniors said, "Would you stand out on the field with me?"
Oh,
I can't say no.
well, it's
I
good
mean,
that you
I
did.
could if I wanted to be a real jerk about my
Good.
So that's why I'm late this evening.
Why you dressed up for us?
This was, today's theme was dress like you did in high school.
Oh, was it really?
Yep, and imagine this 25 pounds lighter and the hair a lot longer.
Did you? Oh, I see pictures, man. That's all right, Mark.
Right there.
I didn't know if it was a.
Ridge. This is what you're looking at, right?
A little bit north of that
More, yeah.
and east, or west. So right there.
Right
There
here?
you go.
Right there. If you click that, it'll show you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not in town?
Could be.
That right there is not in town?
This
Oh,
little
oh.
piece is.
Okay, good. That's the one we were wanting.
Sewer line.
Off on this is Pence. This is
That's-
Pence right here.
That's the, yeah, that's the.
Oh, there is some land up in there, yeah.
That's what's in-
17 number. Right there, directly.
Is that what you wanted, Ben?
Of the,
Yeah.
But the mowed area, Mike, that's what, right there, it's
Wastewater.
Pence,
That's
right?
Pence.
Behind
Yes,
Pence.
that's what I was referring to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Pence?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, Pence is gonna redevelop at some point. I mean, once the sons are done working, it'll get sold. I mean, I've had many conversations with those guys.
Rest, they've stayed in business without a dealership.
Without a
as long as
flag,
they-
yeah, I know. They have a lot of loyalty.
Very,
Got a lot of loyalty.
Yeah.
I still use them.
Do you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I am, yes.
Downtown, you said? That the one you wanted, or you want the different one? Where I've been, I'm so sorry. Scale it down, because it won't, like I
We
said, it
may
won't go
have to
left or
go
right.
into, so,
What if I took it off the page?
yes. Yes. That's not on that map. It is on this one, though. It's on the whole map, the Danville.
Is that east of Clear Creek Drive or is it west?
there's one on each
It's
side
on
of
each
it.
side.
Each side
There's
of it.
a
What is this?
2 acre and a 3 acre.
You got Casey's,
Oh, this is-
Casey's building there.
So you want the other map?
Yeah, the Danville TIF map. It shows it all on the very west end. It'll show,
Cedar Run, 3.3 acres.
yeah. And then right there. So there's 3 commercial lots, and people don't realize this. There's a 3/4 acre lot behind Casey's that is for sale. I mean, that's a lot I keep forgetting about. I think, Casey. Yeah, right there. So there is a 3/4 acre lot right behind Casey's, and it's got an access drive. It's all ready to go. And then there's the lot on each side of the entrance. So there's 3 lots.
They get rid of the dirt back there?
I don't know.
One on each side of it.
Yeah, there's a 3 acre lot on the west side of the drive, and it. Yes.
Wow.
Gary, didn't we look at that one time as a possible fire station location when we were looking at the expansion of the town to the west? Years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another question, age-old question.
Well, if they, go ahead.
I was gonna say,
Right.
anything happens. So you can put,
We can bring it to it.
yeah, you can bring it to it.
Eventually, it will.
Sure.
also have some reliance on that study that's being done. Water and sewer. Either gonna be September, I think.
How about the master plan?
Yeah. That gives us a really good indication.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
So, in talking with Superintendent Crisp, I mean, he's ready to do what he has to do to make his plant ready to go. Or if he needs a new, whatever he needs to do. Very excited about the possibility of expansion if needed.
As far as the heavy lifting, Mike, we had discussed when these documents were prepared, and Lisa Lee was here last month representing the RDC, we talked about tiffing everything that was in red. And I appreciate her going to bat for us as a commission to do all that. But we before you got here, we came to a consensus of the board as we'd rather just EDA everything that's in red and be more limiting and specific on what we tiff.
Yes. Yes.
And we've identified really just 3 TIF areas to start. Banners,
Yes.
the Logans,
Yeah, the one that you just showed, I saw that.
and then
Yeah, is that what
the
you
justice development, the continuous living. Assisted living facility coming in on East Main Street. The new
Right.
one
Yep,
that they're
yep,
getting ready to
yep.
pull permits for. You okay with pursuing a TIF on that? Get
I
some
think
money
that,
flowing?
I think that's prudent based on where it is. Yeah.
Okay, those are really the 3 TIF areas that we're talking about. And then, of course, we can always TIF something later once this EDA is set.
Whatever replaces me.
You're gonna be voting on this,
Right.
That's correct. Yes.
so.
And we want your leadership with the council
Yeah,
too. I
well-
mean, you're the guy.
Yeah, look quick, because that's a quick little snapshot before it changes, boys.
Yeah, but
We've decided to push forward with trying to do this year, so.
And I think that's a prudent thing to do.
And of course, what I reminded the RDC was that in recent years, you've seen small communities, medium-sized communities declare their entire boundaries as an development area. So the only impact really that affects the town overall financially is when you establish those TIF districts. But the main thing to remember is when you establish the TIF districts, that assessed value base remains the same as it was at the first of the year.
Yes.
So then what we're getting is the increment.
And I think if we're, as a board, moving forward on this, I think we're getting close to the point we need to bring Jenny Pearson in the loop and make sure that, a little selfish, that we don't hide our face, that, still protecting the interest of the overall town.
Great.
yeah, Ben made that comment the first of this meeting. Yeah, I want to be sensitive to that. And if Jenny needs you, absolutely.
So I think our next step is gonna be, over the course of the next month, is with your revised maps, hopefully within the EDA, you can specify those 3 TIF areas and whatever somehow identified. And I can send that to Lisa and to Heidi to update, and really get more of a real draft of, hey, this reflects what we want to do, get it to Jenny. Really start on our next steps of implementation. But having this final document that we feel is in presentable form will be our next step.
And once that happens, definitely we've got to get the council on board. Get them at minimum up to speed, but whether you're really seeking their approval or not, this is pretty big. We're to the point.
Okay?
I'm wondering if the map illustrations could be sent to Banning Engineering, and Banning could develop like a 3x4. I don't know, I'm a big picture guy. It's,
You guys do boards?
You want that for the council
I think as we're going down the road, it's gonna be for everybody.
Once we get this final map, having that on a big board, I think would be helpful.
Yeah.
So working, if we go to the timetable, Mike, this board technically approves and files this declaratory resolution before it hits any public meetings.
Right.
So what is your advice on where the council comes in before we adopt this?
I think it's most prudent to get the council up to speed, not that you're actually seeking their approval, because it would be the board that does this. But it's just been my experience in the last half that this council really can't afford any surprise. Just, if it leaks out to parts of the community and the council isn't aware of it, then, you know, there's a feeling of animosity, a little mistrust, you know. It's
I'm all
like
for it at all time, whatever you think that steps
I
to
think-
do it,
I
I'm
think
in.
before,
I agree with you.
you know, I think they need to be brought on board as early as possible. Again, once the maps are made, that's gonna be easier for the council to look at and go, okay, now we see what you're doing.
Proper topic for study that we can maybe incorporate with our police commission merit board and the,
Depending on the timing, yes.
yeah, I'm just
You know.
wondering if that might not be that way it, don't get as many public participants in a work study,
Yeah.
but still do a lot of work.
And I'm gonna be a little political here and throw this idea out and see what you guys think. Tell me honestly what you think. Since the board, the council is flipping, are gonna be newbies. They should probably be brought on board as well, at least from an informational standpoint. Soon. Not necessarily right away, but I think at that point, because they are going to inherit this.
If that's not out of bounds, or, yeah.
I mean, you know, I wouldn't want them here, you know, just hearing about it for the first time in November.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as public meetings go, you know, they're gonna be out there, and they're probably gonna be sitting there going like, well, why don't I know about it? Again, not that they have that they have a vote or a dog in that fight yet, but just forewarned is forearmed, and transparency seems to be a buzzword these days, and
So looking at the timetable, the council's gonna see this paperwork the first time 30 days or less after we really get going. So it's
Okay.
pretty early in the process.
right.
I've drawn a little lot here to see if we can get the town council brought up to speed earlier in the process, within 30 days.
I think that's
Goes
great.
public.
I think that is good timing. And again, their interest may be very, but the idea that they, if somebody in the community questions them and says, hey, what's going on with development, about TIF areas, council can honestly say, yeah, that's something that's discussed. The RDC is really running it. Those are the better people. You know, and then the newbies, and I mean that in the best possible way, somewhere for the declaratory resolution, maybe even filing with the plan commission, they can kind of be brought up to speed too. But that's, you know, it's very arbitrary. They may want to start coming in and sitting in on these meetings That makes it even easier because we're chasing them down. You can't really play favorites too, because you can't just feed it to the 3 Republicans without feeding it to the 2 Democrats as well.
We'll send invitations to them, let them know.
I
Thank
think,
you.
I
Our
think
next
that would-
RDC
I
is-
think that solves a lot of the problems,
Yes, sir.
just make them aware of what's
And
going
out
on.
of fairness, we'll probably go ahead and send to the Democratic
have
candidate
to.
in the Ward 2.
Good idea.
At large in the ward too, so
Yes, sir.
we've got to get the 3 Republicans and 2 Democrats. Just keep inviting them to these meetings. If they choose not to show, then we've done our due diligence.
Ben, I don't have my time sheet in front. Isn't there also meetings with the Plan Commission?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We filed the resolution with both the Plan Commission and Town Council. And that both boards hear it.
You have that in an electronic format by any chance?
See if I can find it.
Would you please, because I
Yeah.
don't think either one.
Scan in the PDF.
That'd be great. Yep.
I have mine, but
Okay, yep.
The actual dates on this are gonna be off,
Yeah,
but the
Yeah.
description of what comes next is
Okay.
intact.
Yeah, if you just email us, your correction of the dates, it'd be great. And the other thing, while I've got the floor, Mr. President, real quick, is if you guys can give us, now Lisa will probably be your point of contact from this point forward. But if she doesn't reach out to you seeking agenda items, if we could get that maybe like the Wednesday before your Thursday meeting, that way we can get them out posted and make sure everything's legal and up, and we put notices out. We posted in 2 conspicuous places. We missed a third for this one, but I'm okay with that.
So I included you guys on the email.
Yes,
Does
sir.
it need to be earlier than what I did this time?
What was it, 36 hours? Yes.
You mean, you need it a week before?
Even if we could get it on the Friday, that'd be great.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
And if you think about it, and again, I can send you a reminder tomorrow, my email is changing to mmorgan@danvilleindiana.org. As right now, everybody's sending it to Danville Fire. Fortunately, the fire department's been very gracious to let me keep the account open.
Okay.
So, but I will be transitioning it all over.
So, yeah, Lisa, if you just add that to your calendar and as far as when you need to publish, do it, no matter what, and hopefully you and I will be in contact with one another about agenda items.
Just a heads up, the agendas and the minutes are important because they'll be part of the documentation that will go to the county, but you got to file with them. The last time I did this, I had a book about that big. And so we've got to make sure that we've got everything in there properly, so.
And we're always willing to, we now have the ability to obviously pull the videotape, and we'd be happy to submit that with all of our findings as well. You're not going to be happy about this. We're working on trying to get as paperless as possible because we're trying to kill a few flesh trees, but we do understand that we will have to make paper documents.
Now, my problem is my printer doesn't work at home, so.
We understand, sir.
But I could bring in my laptop.
Yeah, and we're actually meeting with a company Wednesday that deals with, specifically with boards and meetings and minutes. So we're seeing what they have to offer to us.
Trying to do.
Yes, sir.
So our, in the next 30 days, Marlon and I will work with Lisa Lee and Heidi, try to get the declaratory resolution. Marlon's gonna check with his engineers about putting the final maps on a big board. How do we meet with the time?
We can do a couple of different things. One can be as easy as a study. And we just need 48 hours notice.
Right.
Is that correct?
We have to legally post it, But it can be as informal as what you did in your office a couple weeks ago.
Let me know when.
We're working on a couple other work studies. so,
Yeah, and then a lot's gonna depend on when you get the document.
Our handout material for council could be simple section in your game elected officials handbook.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
There's a section dealing with RDC and
Read it the other day. You left a great deal of literature for me to read, sir.
Oh, absolutely.
make up your own mind.
Yes,
So
sir,
we're
I got it.
meeting on the 20th. And we did mention getting the council together for a work study, but we didn't pick a date because busy night. And the 20th is going to be a busy night, but we can certainly contact the council members. Actually, that was some items for study. We've done work studies before council meetings in the past. A bit of information overload. Members to those meetings on time, you know. Yes, sir.
Concerns or whatever.
It'd really be a great PR tool, to be honest with you.
Do it during my finals.
Yeah.
Kids, you just take your test. I'm gonna talk to this man right here. We're gonna get a few things. You're gonna watch government action, kids. Let's see for the first one. It would be nice if we could get that done before the end of the month. And again, good PR.
Especially to meet them.
And
Do you
all-
want, do you want us to pursue that then?
That'd be great.
And also, it might even be better, again, a formal work study, just meeting with, get them up to speed. That way, we're not waiting, you know.
Yeah. 'Cause that's what you're actually implying, isn't that, Marlon, to just meet a couple of council members, just say, call them up, say, hey, what are you doing on whatever, and
Two people, and you don't
Mike's
have,
already up to speed.
have to
That
advertise.
means
No
if we can get
advertising.
2 and 2, we'll be. we'll have
Two,
it
you're
covered.
done. Tom and Jim are retired, so
yeah.
that should be fairly easy to do during a day, so you
Right.
don't really, you know. So,
And Chris's schedule's pretty flexible. He'd be a nooner. He loves to meet for lunch. He seems to have time for lunch.
Likes to eat.
He does like to eat. Every time he calls me, what are you doing for lunch?
there you go.
Yeah,
And then Dennis is catch as catch can, because of the
Absolutely.
sales job.
yeah.
You can always pop out of the high school, bang on the window, I'll let you in the back room. Oh, seriously, I will. And that sounds really funny, but no, it happens all the time.
Guys, is there any other, action agenda items in the next 30 days that we should be pursuing, or is that?
I'd feel comfortable about one more meeting with our attorney and financial person. That's the only
Get them to
thing.
the next meeting?
I think I have a good fix on everything, but I'd like to double check.
So just tentatively, and I'm projecting ahead, that if we can get them to the June meeting, we like everything we see, potentially push forward with whatever votes, start the process.
And the council meets June 17th. We meet the 3rd and the 17th.
Yes, sir.
13th.
So we could have this done by fall, if all goes well.
Be nice. Okay, good.
Great.
Good. Thank you for everything, guys. I feel like we've made some progress.
All start coming together.
Yeah.
Your brain starts
Yeah.
wrapping around it. Yeah.
And so what we've done over the course of the last year, we have to boil down and explain to the decision makers.
Oh, Marlon's gonna help.
Are you adjourned, sir?
Motion to adjourn?
Move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thanks, guys.